Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, wherever you're listening from. Yeah, so we're going to be having our economics class. Yes, we're starting with the meaning and scope of economics. So let's go on the train. All right, so I want you to describe this picture in just one word. Look at the picture. So what can you see? I know some of you will say trade, business. You are all correct. So looking at the picture, you can see trade. If you say trade, you're correct. If you say business, you're correct. If you say buying and selling, you're also correct. So let's move. So we want to look at the meaning and scope of economics. What are we what are we learning? What do we want to achieve at the end of this lesson? So at the end of this lesson, I would expect you to be able to explain the meaning and scope of economics. So we're going to be looking at some keywords, ends, wealth, scarcity. So these are the keywords. So let's move. What do you understand by the word economics? What do you understand by the word economics? Yes, please helping us out. Economics, what is it? Okay, economics has been defined by various economists. An economist is a person that studies economics. So, a lot of economists have they've come up with various definitions of economics. Some of them will be considered as we move. So, let's look at the definition given by Alfred Marshall, an economist. He defined economics as a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. The study of mankind, the study of people, the study of you and I in the ordinary business of life. How we behave in our daily activities. That's according to Alfred Marshall. So we have other economists. We have Adam Smith. That's the person we regard as the father of economics. Yes. The father of economics, Adam Smith, defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. That is, he defined economics in us inquiring, okay, what is the nature of the wealth of nations, various nations? What is obtainable in the US, in Nigeria? What's the nature of their wealth? And what brings about their wealth? That is according to Adam Smith. So an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. We also have J.S. Mill, that's John Stuart Mill. He defined economics as the practical science of production and distribution of wealth. He defined economics as a practical science, not just a social science. When we're treating the scope of economics, you get to understand why economics is regarded as a science in some times and also regarded as a social science. So he said economics is a practical science of production, and distribution of what has been produced, wealth. All right, so that's according to J.S. Mill. Let's look at H.J. Davenport. He defined economics as the science that treats phenomena from the standpoint of price. He regarded economics as a science that treats various topic concepts. That's what he meant by phenomena, various concepts from the standpoint of price. Now you agree with me that whatever to I mean let me shed a little on this. Let me shed a little light on this particular definition. We have a lot of things nature has given to us. God has given to us in nature to enjoy freely. One of them is water. One of them is air, the air we breathe. But the moment something begins to command price, it becomes an economic good. It's no longer free. Even the water that was given to us freely, the moment it is repackaged to command price, then it becomes an economic good. That is why H.D. Davenport said, is a science, economics is a science that treats various concepts of human endeavor, phenomena from the standpoint of price. All right, so the fifth person, A.C. Pigo, said economics is a science, also a science of material welfare. Material welfare. And what is that material welfare? We're talking about wealth, creation of wealth, production of wealth, distribution of wealth that will, you know, that will increase the standard of living of people. Majorly, this definition is talking about the production of goods and services that will increase people's standard of living. So it's the science of material welfare. All right. So one economist stand out in its definition, and that was Professor Lord Lionel Robbins. He gave this definition. He gave his own definition in 1932. He defined economics as the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means, which are or which have alternative uses. You can see some key words in its definition. He said it is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So let's delve into this definition. Leonard Robbins' definition. He actually gave the most acceptable definition. So let's look at some of the keywords in his definition. Yeah, let's take a look at ends. Ends. Ends in this definition refers to human wants. End in our day-to-day English means to end something, to finish something, to complete something, but that's not the case here. Here, when we're talking about ends, we're talking about human wants. We're talking about human needs. Yes, ends, human wants. Now let's look at scarce means. Scarce means. Scarcity is coming up here. Scarcity. So scarce refer to the limited available resources meant to satisfy human wants. The means, the means through which we satisfy our ends. I don't know if you've heard the axiom, the end justifies the means. Yes. That means the wants in this scenario, the wants will tell us what resources or what means we're going to use to satisfy it. That's and the end justifies the means. So means here refer to the way we are going to satisfy our wants. You understand? So the means through which the ends or the wants are satisfied. So scarce means that is scarce resources, limited available resources. So scarce means refer to limited available resources that are meant to satisfy human wants. We get to understand better as we move on. So let's look at alternative uses. Alternative uses in this definition implies that scarce resources can be put into different uses for efficiency. All right, so let's move on. Now, I want you to take a few minutes, look at this definition. Yes, so just match the correct definition with the correct author. So that's I'll leave you to do that, you know, on your own. So we have to move on now. All right, the nature and scope of economics. Nature and scope of economics. Economics is both regarded as a science, like I said, and also a social science. Now, why is economics a social science, you may ask? Economics is a social science because it studies people. It's not like the practical sciences that studies inanimate objects. This has to do with people. It studies human behavior, which is subject to change, which is subject to dynamism. Humans are dynamic in nature. So we can, under the same circumstance, a particular human or person can behave in different ways, even under the same circumstances at different time. Yes. So economics is regarded as a social science because it studies human behavior. Yeah. So economics is also regarded as science. You can see some of those definitions as telling us that economics is a practical science. So why is economics a science? It is a science because it adopts scientific methods, in its analysis. We adopt scientific methods such as observation. In economics, we observe just the way the pure scientists do when they want to perform experiment on a particular, concept. So, observation, formulation of hypotheses. We formulate laws, we formulate, principles. There are principles in economics, just like the principle of comparative advantage. We have the law of demand, the law of supply, and so many other laws in economics. You understand? So there is we formulate hypotheses, we collect data. Yes, there is an aspect of statistics in economics. We collect data, we analyze data, we interpret data. So these are reasons economics is regarded as a science. But then let's look at this question. Why can't economics, although regarded as a science, not, why can't it assume the same level of precision and accuracy with the physical sciences of the likes of physics, chemistry, and biology? Why can't we group them together? Why we call economics a science? Why can't they, why can't, when we are mentioning science subjects, why can't we also mention economics? Yes, it can't assume the same level with the physical sciences because we economists are dealing with people. Like I said, people are dynamic in nature. Under the same circumstance, they can behave in different ways at different time, even under the same circumstance. You understand? So economics cannot attain the same level of precision with the sciences, with the pure sciences, with physics, with chemistry. Like physics, if you say if the Boyle's law, there is, yes, the Boyle's law, Charles law, and all those laws, have remained since time immemorial, and they're still it's still the same because those laws are based on inanimate objects. Meanwhile, in economics, if you want to formulate like the law of demand, we can't say specifically that this, we can't categorically say this is it. Before we state that law, there is an economic term we use, which is ceteris paribus, under normal condition, all other things being equal, meaning that it may not always be so because humans are dynamic, they change, human behavior changes. So it can't, that's why we have abnormal demand, We have normal demand, we have abnormal demand because some human beings tend to behave, even when prices are low, they will still not buy more. You understand? So that is why yes, let me state the law. The law of demand states that ceteris paribus, the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. All other things being equal, meaning that it may not always be so. Some people will still buy more even when the prices are higher. So it depends on the situation. So that is why economists cannot attain the same level of prescription. All right, so this is where we're going to stop today. So let's take our plenary. What have you learned today? I want you to share your learning with me in the comment box. Then I want you, if you have any question, let me know in the comment box. See you next time. Thank you.